Okay guys, so now we will talk about variables. So sometimes we need to work on some values, processing the values, make some mathematical operations, and then display the output using the cout. So if you want to save your values, then you need variables to save them into your computer memory. Now if you want to work on some values and you want to save these values, you need to know about variables. So let's say if you want to save your grade or your score in your test, so you need a memory space to save it. So we will use a variable to refer to that memory place. So first you need to select a name based on some rules for the variables. First, let's say I want to save my first exam, C++ exam. So I will pick a name for the variable, and the variable must start with, the variable name must start with character, a letter. So here I'll start by saying first test, referring to the first test. So what do you think? What kind of data you will save in the first time score? So I am assuming that this will be something like I am getting 90.5 out of 100. So what do you think? What is this kind of number? Is it an integer or floating point? So you have to decide. So you have to think about the scenario you are working on, what kind of data. So first step again is to pick a name for the variable. The variable name must start with a letter following by sequence of letters and or numbers. I can say first test 1. This is good. And I cannot start by a number. No numbers at the beginning of the variable name. So I'll share with you the list of the rules of how to select the identifier or the variable name. So again, one more rule: you cannot use some C++ keywords. You cannot use C++ keywords like main. The main is good, starting with M, with a letter, no special characters, and that's good, but the main is a reserved keyword. You might ask, how can I tell? You'll learn day by day all the list of the keywords, okay, of C++. So let's say that we have this one. So before we can use this variable that we just created, we need to declare that variable. We need to tell the computer what kind of data type or what are the data types that this variable can save. What is the actual data type? So we have a list of types. We have integer, int, we have float, double, character, string, and much more. So this one is float. This one is float, is a floating point, or you can say double. Double has bigger space. So let's say this is the float. So now I started by selecting the name based on the identifiers rules, and then the data type. I cannot use it without the data type, and then I can initialize it. So this is the initializing of that variable. One more thing, I can say the average will be initially 0, and the average has a data type. This is another variable, average. You see that? The average is variable name, and it's good so far. But there is a red underline telling you that there is something wrong. Can you tell what's wrong with this statement? Yes, the answer is because we used it before we declared it. So we need to identify what data type is this, the average. So while we are using the floating point, so float as well. So we are good now. You see that? So let's keep working on this one. If we have more than one grade, so we can do these things. So float, second test, and that's it. I can initialize it right away, or I can just declare the variable and set the value in a separate line, as you can see here, a value that you want. So here we have two things. I can do both of them in the same line as well. If let's say that I have float test 3 and I can initialize it to 78.0 and comma here. Look at this, I'm using comma, not semicolon, because I am not finishing this statement yet. I want to declare more than one variable within the same statement. Test 4 equals 88.7. So look at this here. I can do this instead. So look at this. I can do what? I can declare two variables at the same time, initializing both or one of them, and then I'm ready to use them. Good. Now let's do some calculations, some operations. We need to find the average of these things. Now I want to use the average variable, and then I will say equals to average equals to what? To the first test plus second test. So let me correct here. Let me correct this one. Test. So here test 1, 2, and then test 3 plus test 4. All together, add them up, and then enclose them by the parentheses to divide all of them by the number of tests, which is 4 here, and remember to add a semicolon at the end. So now I have the average, and here is the statement that we already did, and I want another statement here, and I will say your average for this class is, and then look at this here. This is the message. After the message, I want to add one more insertion operation because I'm planning to print something else after this message, which is the average. The average that we just calculated is saved under this variable, so I'm going to use this variable to be displayed. So average, but this time I didn't use the double quotation because I don't want to print the keyword or the word average. I want to print the value of this variable. You see that? So I am going to print the value. The compiler will check, do I have a variable named average? Yes, I do. What is the value? It will be displayed. Now my question, where this statement will be printed? Is it on the same line of the C++ here, or on a separate line? Yes, your answer is correct. It will be on the same line. What I have to do in order to print it in a separate line, here on the statement above, I can add the end line to move the cursor to a new line, so the next statement will be printed in a new line. So this is a good review for you. Now let's run and let's check the results. Your average for this class is, here is this grade. It's good grade so far. You can improve it, and that is cool so far. Good job, guys. So this is welcome to my class, and there is new line C++, there is new line, and this is the thing all together, the message, the average, and the value of the average will be displayed here, right? So here I'll show you more examples of variables data types. We worked on float, and we have other data types like integer. So if you have your age, integer age, and here I can say your age is 20. Okay, so the data type of the variable age is 20. By the way, you can use the underscore. This is acceptable in C++. And look at this, integer age equal 30. What do you think? Is this age, the first age, is the same as the second age? No, because I'm using different case. Here I am using upper letter, and here small letter a, and Java is case sensitive. So age with lower letter a is not the same as age with upper letter a. Remember this thing. So again, one more thing. If you say that, let's get rid of this statement. If you say age now equals to 40, and you want to print the age now, what do you think the age is? What do you think the age value is? Is it 20 or 40? The answer is 40. It's the last update. You are updating the value. Initially it's 20, and then you set it to 40, so the updated one will be saved, and you will override the previous value. Remember this as well. More variables or more data types. We have character. If you want to save like your grade is, let's say, B. So B is one character. So grade is the variable name, and here I am saying that the grade is of type character. You can save just one character, 8 bits. One character, either A, B, C, or any other letters. One. And look at this. I am using here single quotation. It's enclosed under single quotation. This is telling that this is one character, and this is good to go. So these are the things. If you have, let's say, name, what do you think? What's the data type of the name? What is the data type of name? there's an error here because we didn't declare the data type. So what is the data type? What do you think of the name? Is it character? Is it integer? No, none of them. It's a string. Look at it, string. To use a string, sometimes you need to include the header file hash include string to use the string. So we have now float, integers, character, and we have string. Good. We have other data types like Boolean to save either a value of true or false, yes or no, like pass. So you can say true or false, pass, true or false. So you can do this as well. So the Boolean is just to save one of two values, either true or false, Boolean. So we have now integer, float, character, string, Boolean. So for each case, there is the right data type. You have to read your case, read the problem, analyze the problem, and then go from there to identify which variables you need, and then what is the data type of the variables, and so on. By the way, there is a good video, I will link it here up, about how to start working on a project, how to analyze the problem, how to overcome some programming difficulties. So I'm encouraging you to watch this video as well. So let me know if you have any questions. Write your questions in the comments below. So scroll all the way down on YouTube, and then you will see the comment section. You can write and share your experience if you have any difficulties, or if you want me to cover any other subjects. So thank you for watching, and see you soon. For more videos, make sure to subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell to be the first one receiving the latest videos.